I'll go ahead and start. So, here we go. So imagine that you have all your photos stored safely, permanently, and you have a system in place so you can find any photo in literally seconds. It's not good enough just to know I've got it all organized and I know it's all stored here and in these boxes on the shelf. And no, you want to be able to find it. And like I said, if you have your phone with you all the time, that if a memory comes to mind of your great-great-grandfather, that you can actually pull that picture up and go, I've got that picture of my great-great-grandfather here on my phone. I've got this old picture from high school. You might own 10, 20,000 photos and movies that are important to you, and you have them with you all the time. And it's so easy to be that organized and also have the access. So where do you begin with a project like this? You really, really need to keep it simple. I think we tend to make this way too complicated in our head, and then it makes it hard and you don't want to get started. And really the bulk of this, the most important part of this whole project, you could have completed by the end of this weekend. So that's when everybody goes, no, she's crazy, no way. And what I'm not talking about going through and labeling every single photo with a name and a date and the stories. That can come later. That part's going to be fun, the reminiscing. But the most important part of just getting everything together, you can be done by this weekend. Then you feel like you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like a I can do this type of thing. Okay, so the reason you need to have a good system in place is because if you don't, stuff happens, fires, floods, hurricanes. You lose your furniture, that's too bad. You lose your photos and memories, that's really bad. You can't replace those. In a move, the box that inevitably gets lost is the box with the photos in. If you've been taking photos with your phone, you lose your phone, it drops in water, you're losing your photos. Hard drives on those computers don't last forever. If that's where you're storing your photos, that's a good way to lose them. But the biggest way people are losing their photos is, you know you have the photo somewhere, but you have no idea how to find that particular photo. So it might as well be lost. So really everybody is in a situation of needing a better system for their photos. So when I'm talking about getting everything all organized, I'm talking about like your old pictures here from the 1800s, photos from the 1940s. You have old slides, pictures of your old lake cabin, your kids when they were little, wedding pictures, high school pictures. Maybe you even have a box of photos of people you've been told you're related to, but you're not really sure who they are. You probably also have movies, home movies, journals, documents you've saved. A lot of things that are important. So there's 3 steps to being totally organized. You can actually skip the 3rd step. So we're all about keeping this simple. And the first step is to get all your existing media converted to a digital format. Everything. Find a place to send it in. If you have a local business that does this type of service, it's nice to support a local business. You have the option to do it yourself. The first thing, so you don't have sticker shock, whether you're doing it yourself and buying equipment or you're paying someone else to do it, this step can be expensive. If depending on how much you have accumulated, this could cost you $200, $300, $400. That is so worth it. I mean, the pictures you're going to find, photos of relatives, people that you've maybe never seen these photos before, or their photos or movies you haven't seen in decades. This is priceless. It's so important to do. Just budget that expense and do it in little segments, or some people just say, I'm just going to do it all at once. And if you have boxes of old pictures, keep in mind, we used to pay for our film, we paid for our developing. You probably don't have a lot of excess when it comes to your old photos. Like if you went to a little kid's birthday party 30 years ago, you took maybe 1 photo, maybe 2. You went to a birthday party for a little kid last weekend, you might have taken 20 or 30 pictures. In amongst our old photos, we don't have a lot of excess. So you wouldn't, you don't have to even go through them. probably you would be happy to have digital copies of everything you've been saving. However, I did have in one of my classes I had a fellow who said, but I have 10,000 slides. Okay, so maybe if you need a system for culling, pretend these are your photos here in your hand, and you're going to go through the photos and do this quickly. When you pick up a stack of photos, your first inclination is to start looking at the photo and trying to reminisce and figure out the year that was taken and what was that person's name and should I get a pencil and write on the back? No, no, no. You don't need, this is not the time to start reminiscing and enjoying your photos. You've got a job to do right now. And pretend like as you're holding these photos in your hand or slides or negatives, that it's a deck of cards and you are going to be putting them in 3 piles. The people pile would be your priority number 1. And if there's your picture of your first car, the house you grew up in, that goes in pile number 2. Just random scenery might be pile number 3. Just pretend like you're dealing a deck of cards. Do this quickly and no reminiscing. You're going to get to do that later. You don't need to get access to a slide projector so you can perfectly view those slides. Any room with regular lighting, you can tell if there are people in the picture. So get them in their categories, do it quickly. There are a lot of different types of scanners on the market. If you're considering doing this yourself, some of them are little gadgets I wouldn't even waste my money on. You want to have a scanner that has settings so you can get a good high resolution copy. Very often people are using what they're calling a scanner. It's really just a copy machine. You want to be able to set your scanning. If you're doing prints, you want to scan at 600 dots per inch. If you're doing slides or negatives, you want to be scanning at a minimum of 3,000 dots per inch. So if you're getting a scanner, make sure the scanner will work with the computer you have. If you do an update on your computer, then your scanner may not work anymore. They have to match each other. So doing it yourself is an option. Just make sure you're doing high resolution scans. If you are considering some online business or a local business offering digitizing, avoid any place that says, well, put it all on a CD, we'll put it all on a DVD. This is kind of old fashioned, but a lot of places advertise this because this is what we kind of still want, something you can physically hold in your hand. How many of you though still have a place on your computer that you can pop in a CD or a DVD? This is kind of going backward. If you have old VHS tapes and you've had them converted to a DVD, that doesn't mean you have a digital copy of that movie. If you want that movie digitized, you still have to send in either the original VHS tape or the DVD to get a digital copy. Once you have a digital copy of your old movies, you can upload them to a cloud to store them. You can go in and edit them, clip different parts apart, separate the ball game from the birthday party. You can share segments with your cousin in California just via email. You want to make sure the videos are digitized, not just transferred to a DVD. Like I said, check out, see what's available to you. Local businesses always ask questions. What resolution are they scanning at? When you send in movies, some places if you have old film movies that have sound, some places will not do the sound that goes with the movie. Seems odd, but there was a time in the 70s, it was when film first had sound. This is before VHS and video. Okay, so if you have those movies, make sure that you find a place that will do sound with them. Also, as you're watching your old home movies and you become used to watching high definition television, you'll notice that, wow, these are really kind of, they're fuzzy, but pretty soon you don't care because you're just enjoying the home movies so much. But some places will do touch-ups for you and they just include it in their price. Ask if they do that. Or is it included in the price? Is it going to be extra? They can make pictures sharper. They can faded color. They can fix. As VHS tapes age, something that happens is the audio and the video no longer sync. They can sync that up. Drives you crazy to watch that when the mouths are moving and the sound is lagging behind. And lots of times when people have old media digitized and it comes back with a hiss through the whole movie or something isn't quite right, we accept it. We think, well, it was old, and this is what you get when you convert old media. Very often that should be able to be cleaned up. So find out, make sure, what resolution are they scanning at? You want to hear those high numbers. How much touch up will they do to your movies? And last of all, will they organize your box of stuff you bring in? And you're thinking, that's crazy, because I can hardly organize it, and it's mine. But I'll bet as you start pulling things out of your collection, you'll find that you have a carousel of slides that somebody wrote on the outside of the box, Hawaii 1975, or you come to a bunch of loose photos, and you're looking through them and you realize, okay, this is all the 1990s. If you put a Post-it note with that and ask them to label these, and they will do that. They'll create a file or an album, and they'll put all of Hawaii pictures together and all of the 1990s together. And if you also happen to send in a bunch of old photos that were your mom's, your dad's, they can label one batch, the Anderson family, the other batch, the Johnson family. Then you don't have a jumbled mess. Then, like, if you log into, if they set up an account for you, when you log in, you will see Hawaii is separate from the 90s, which is separate from the Anderson family and the Johnson family. It is a huge help. So that's a question that you want to ask. What are you getting for these services? If you know that, you're going to be that much better off. So like I said, check and see what's available locally. And sadly, I've always said that there are fewer and fewer camera shops around that do these things. Even Costco and Sam's, they don't do it anymore. They used to have that set up there in-house. There are companies like these three that are pictured here. These are just three of the more well-known ones that they'll sell you an empty box. So you might pay $250 for this box, and that shows up on your step, and you bring it in, put it on your dining room table. It does make it easy, because you're looking at this empty box. Every time you go by it, dump in the slides you just found, the photo album you just found. Some places will do photo albums. You don't have to take them apart. Don't take the photos off the page. Don't take the pages out of the book. They will just do a perfect copy of that book, and you capture the handwriting of the person that created it. They all do this differently. Like this company here on the lower right, they have one box that's just for slides, and then another box that's just for prints, and another one that's just for movies, and then they're all priced differently. Then the other end of the line is a company like this one that sends you a box. It's huge, and then you put anything you want in there. Photos and slides and negatives, old letters, audio tapes. And when they receive it, they make a list of everything you sent in and itemize it. Unless, let's say you bought a $250 box from them. By the time you get it full, you've got $300 worth of scanning in there. Then they just tell you your balance due is $50. So they all do their pricing a little different, and the way they set up the boxes. I've actually pulled out a calculator to try to compare who had the best deal. I'm pretty sure they're tracking each other, staying price competitive. They all have sales. The pricing ends up being pretty much the same. The services they offer differ though. Some will do the photo albums, some will not do albums. There's certain things, some places won't do everything, some places do everything. So lots of questions to ask before you consider using a particular service. So I'm going to next talk about now where are you going to store these pictures once you have them scanned. I'll just ask the group, is there a quick question about scanning before I go on to step 2? Okay. I think you have to unmute. If somebody's talking, you can just press the space bar down and that will let you talk. That will unmute you. Okay, I'll just go on to step 2 then, and at the end we'll have time if somebody's got a question there and you're having trouble getting off of mute. But Step two is where am I going to store these pictures now? You've got all your existing media that popped in a box. Either you're thinking, I'm going to try to do this scanning myself, or I'm going to take it somewhere. The bonus of if you take it somewhere and drop it off, that frees up your time to jump in and start step two right away. So where are you going to store all of this? And just a little humor here. Whoops. Hard drives, we figured out, don't last forever. So it's a lot of work to maintain and back up again and again on your computer. So yeah, hard drives don't last forever. So you might want to rethink using your computer as your storage site. You can use your computer to access your pictures, but actually, once you get your photos, if you have photos on your computer and you're going to say upload them to a cloud, if you're going that route, you don't even need a computer to be doing everything I'm going to be talking about. You need good internet. You need just decent internet. So if that's good news to you that you can do all this fun stuff without a computer, now keep listening. But I know this is a computer class, but yeah, tablets and they're getting more and more. There's more you can do with those really inexpensive little tablets. Okay, so where might your photos be? Where have you been storing pictures? Maybe you've stored them on CDs. Have you been storing them on film cards? Maybe on external hard drives. How about USBs, thumb drives? The thing about all of these storage sites is you can lose your pictures. CDs weren't meant for permanent storage. The little film cards that came with cameras weren't. They were just meant to be temporary. People do lose pictures off these thumb drives. They have, one woman had $800 worth of scanning that was returned to her on a thumb drive. She carefully put it in her drawer, pulled it out 6 months later. There was nothing on it anymore. Now I realize probably there's many, many other people with thumb drives they've had for 5-10 years and they're fine. The problem is you just never know. These little things are $2.99, $5.99. They don't last forever. Or did a magnet just get next to it in the drawer? Did it get jammed a little bit? Stuff, this just isn't, none of these CDs, external hard drives, thumb drives, they're not particularly reliable. Don't count on them. That's what this slide just goes over. So today, what they recommend as the easiest, most affordable, most user-friendly way to organize your pictures and have instant access to them is to use some type of a cloud service. So then you could access your pictures from a desktop, a laptop, an iPad, a tablet, your phone. Like I said, we've got our phones with us all the time. You've got a picture of great-great-grandpa on there. You've got the recording of your kid's school concert, everything you have with you. And it's all organized so you can find it. You can organize things in albums. That's what these cloud accounts, these are features that are built in. You can tag pictures. So if I want to find every picture with Johnny in it, click on the name Johnny, every picture's there. I could pull pictures up by dates. Like if I'm thinking, oh, I haven't tagged those wedding pictures yet, but I remember the year the wedding was, I can just click on that date. I have those pictures instantly. And a cloud means, if you're thinking, well, I don't know if I trust a cloud. If you are going to be shopping around for different cloud services, checking things out, find out if they use like what's called bank level security. The cloud doesn't mean things are stored up in the sky in a cloud. They're actually structural buildings in multiple places across the country. And at each location, your pictures are backed up multiple times. So bank level security, that's how banks store their numbers and their records. And have you ever received a monthly credit card bill and have the balance be mysteriously just zero? Like you don't owe that bank any money. Banks never, ever, ever lose track of what you owe them. So it's that same keeping track of things that's the same way your pictures are being stored on a cloud. They call it bank level security to make it just understandable. So it should give you a lot of peace of mind. And as I said, the cloud service, there are some that are free. There are fewer that are free now. Google used to be free. They're not free anymore. But when something's free, it usually means they're compressing the photo. So if you had a nice sharp photo in the beginning, as they compress it because it takes up less space, it costs them less money to store because they're not getting any money from you for the storage. So they let you know it's in the fine print, but then your nice sharp picture is not as nice and sharp as it was. So I would avoid any place that's free. If you ask somebody today, where are you storing your pictures, they would probably mention one of these 9 sites. Starting out though with these 3 on the left, these 3 really are not photo storage sites. These are sites that are encouraging you to upload your pictures, and they'll say, yes, we'll store them. That's because they think your intent is to print with them. A lot of people are using these sites just for storage. They store things there, and then maybe, around Christmas time, in order to print the cards. Read the fine print. What they have in their fine print might say something like, any photos you've uploaded, if you haven't printed them in 90 days, we will compress the photo. It, costs them less to store it now. If you didn't notice that, when it finally comes, the end of this year, and you're thinking, I'm going to order some photo calendars and Christmas photo cards, the pictures aren't as perfect as they were initially. They've lost a lot of resolution. And the same thing can happen with accounts like with Shutterfly or Snapfish, and I'm not bad-mouthing any of these companies that do printing. I've done printing with all of them and been very happy, but just don't misunderstand and think of them as permanent photo storage. Yes, they are. They'll tell you they're photo storage, but they're assuming you're going to keep printing. Once you don't print anymore, they close your account. And that has happened to people with companies like Shutterfly or Snapfish. You do a lot of printing, maybe last year you did around November, and then you don't do anything. And they're going to keep sending you emails like with every single sale that comes along. That's normal. One of those emails might say something like, we noticed you haven't used your account in the past 12 months. If you don't order anything in the next 30 days, we're going to close it. Totally reasonable, makes sense. You haven't been opening their emails and reading them, so you didn't know that came through. So if this coming year in December, you decide to log in to your Shutterfly account or Snapfish or any of these companies, because you uploaded all your best pictures there last year, you're going to find, well, it's gone. What happened? And that's what happened. So just be aware of that. There are other companies, Amazon, Dropbox, Forever, iCloud, Facebook, Google. And this is when, if you're shopping around for these services, you want to read the terms of service. And I'll just go through 3 of these slides so you know what to pay attention to. If you have an iPhone, any Apple products, you automatically get a certain amount of iCloud space free. Just knowing their terms of service, that they're letting you know they don't guarantee anything, and they still strongly suggest that you use some other type of backup, that you have another cloud. Also, iCloud, for a lot of people, it's synced so that the phone is synced to their iPad, that's synced to their computer. So a common thing that happens is someone will think, oh, now that I'm paying $2.99 a month or $9.99 a month for my iCloud, I can delete all these pictures off my phone because they're taking up all my space. I can delete them now because it's stored on the cloud. Well, remember, they're all synced together. So then what has happened to those people is the next time they log in on their computer to their account, they go, none of my pictures are here. That's because when they deleted them from their phone, they had it synced, so it deleted them from everywhere. But just pay attention then. Otherwise, iCloud is not, I have iCloud on my phone. I have pictures in iCloud. You just want to know what it is that, what it is you're getting. And Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, it includes free storage for photos. They do charge you if you upload any videos. It is a service, though, that is tied to that annual payment. I think it's $139 a year. I have Amazon Prime. I love it. just a personal reason I don't use it for storing my photos is because I keep thinking at some point I'm not going to renew this. I don't always need free 2-day shipping. I don't know that I'm going to have it permanently. I just did not want to get locked into any service that was tied to a monthly payment or an annual payment. And also the other things that can happen with any company, not just Amazon. And I'm not negative about Amazon. I love Amazon. The truck stops here all the time. But something that can happen is sometimes your credit card company will contact you and say, we think your account number's perhaps been compromised. We're going to send you a new card. Oh, great. Okay, thank you. But then that means you have to go into any payments that you have on an auto pay on that card and update the number. If you would ever forget to do it, then to your photo storage, it doesn't get updated, and they'll close the account. They'll probably send you an email, and hopefully you open it and read it. They'll say, we haven't gotten your payment. If we don't get it in the next 30 days, we'll close your account. Anyway, it's just too much to keep track of. That's just a personal reason for me, and things just to draw your attention to that you might want to reconsider. Google is a fun one when it comes to reading the terms of service. And this is the last slide I'll go through, because they're very upfront about the fact that they are all about data mining. And they have in their terms of service, so after you read this text, you scroll to the bottom and click I agree. And what you're agreeing to is that you're giving them permission to host, store, reproduce, publish, publicly display, sell, and distribute any content that you upload, which includes your pictures. And I always thought this was it was just in there for some legal reasons. And then somebody would tell me, oh no, my next door neighbor said her cousin was traveling in England and saw a billboard with her picture on it. Well, that sounds like an urban legend. I still didn't believe this. But I was doing one of these classes a couple of years ago, and there was a fellow in the class, and as I'm going through this slide, he's smiling and nodding. And when I got done talking, he said, that happened to our family. He said, we had a professional photographer do an outdoor photo shoot. He said, great photos. We couldn't have been more happy. He set up an account they could log into. They created their own password. They could view the proofs, chose the pictures they wanted. Everything was great. It was about a year later, they had some friends traveling in California, staying at a boutique hotel. And pretty soon they start getting text messages from these friends. And a boutique hotel is apparently like a hotel with a theme. So their friends in California then are saying, hey, guys, this hotel we're staying at, your pictures are hanging up all over the walls here. And then they started taking pictures of the pictures hanging on the walls and texting them back here to the family in Minnesota. And can you imagine? The pictures must have fit their theme. This family, just how in the world are our pictures hanging on all the walls in this hotel? He said, took some backtracking to figure out that initial account set up by the photographer was a Google Cloud storage account, and this agreement, you agreed to this, and that's how the photos were accessed. So I guess it does really happen. So if privacy is an issue to you, just be aware of that. And I just added this one because it's funny. Quote from the Wall Street Journal, anytime something's free, you are becoming the product. So if you're finding someplace you can upload your pictures free, it's because they're tracking, like, what are they taking pictures of? Are there a lot of boats in the pictures? Are there a lot of kids? They know how then to market to you. I mean, first, a lot of people are thinking, well, that's not really the end of the world, but just keep that in mind, that that's how it works. This is just a screenshot of the cloud storage account that I'm using. I've got a mix of pictures here that need to be organized. This is just done a recent upload. So I have old photos here that need to go in my heritage album. I have kid photos that need to go in each of their albums, and travel pictures. And so you can see over here the different types of albums I have. I can tag pictures. This is how I organize. And one of the main reasons I went with this particular account, remember I was I didn't like the idea of being locked into any type of cloud service that had a monthly payment or an annual payment. If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, is anybody in my family going to remember to pay the bill? So what I liked is I was able to buy this account, just buy it and own it permanently. I never get billed or pay again. It also, as you're shopping around, that type of a service ends up costing you a lot less money in the long run. So as I mentioned, if I would click on the name Johnny, every picture that has my son Johnny in it will show up. If I click on a photo that happens to have both my kids in, I want to see, both kids at the same time, I can do that because I have them tagged that way. So instantly I have all the pictures of both my kids in front of me. If I want to find old pictures from high school, in one click, there they are. I have World War II era photos, my mom's, my dad's, all together. If I get into genealogy, all those photos are together. I know where everything is and I can find it. So you're thinking, okay, so how hard is this and what in the world was she talking about? We could finish by the end of the weekend. Whatever type of cloud storage, assuming you're going to do the cloud storage route, you decide to use after you've logged into your account, somewhere on that main page is a tab that says upload. If you click on that, then it'll take you to a screen that says something like, choose files from my computer. We're going to start taking pictures off your computer and putting them on the cloud. Because remember that computer hard drive won't last forever. So here's my computer showing everything that's on my computer and all the photos here. I tell people just start at the top of this list and work your way down. If you have photos on your desktop, start cleaning them off. If you have photos in download folders, pictures, photos, I have this area called devices. So if I plugged in an external hard drive, it would show up here. My CDs will show up here. A USB would show up here. So just start at the top and click on desktop and just be willing to highlight all the pictures. You could highlight 500-600 pictures at once. So even if you're thinking, I'm too busy, I can't start anything this weekend because I've got all this stuff to do. This didn't even take me a minute to do this. Hold the shift key down, highlight your pictures, click open, go do whatever you need to do. Do your grocery shopping, whatever it is you're busy with. Watch a TV show. Resist the urge to be trying to look at these pictures first and trying to decide now, I think I want this picture. I'm not sure if I want these two. I wonder what this one's of. You'll never, ever, ever get them uploaded. Be willing just to kind of do a dump into this cloud. Drop it all in there. If a PDF gets in the mix, it's okay. Once everything's in there and you can clearly view the pictures, you can just like highlight a whole row of them and go, oh, I didn't mean to put those in, and click delete. It's much quicker to do that editing at that point. So this is all there is to it. After you clean up your desktop, come down here to downloads. Start moving all your pictures out of all the download folders on your computer. Once you have your photos off your computer, like I said, you don't need a computer to do any of the rest of what I'm going to talk about. You need internet. You need some nice internet. And well, if you're all here connecting via Zoom, you've got that. So now as you're doing a lot of uploading, a feature you'll really appreciate. So you're shopping around for cloud storage, make sure whatever you're considering purchasing has what's called a dedupe feature. It's DEDUP, catches duplicates. Because I'll bet you have a photo that's sitting on your desktop, the identical photo is in a download folder. Maybe you've uploaded it to Shutterfly to get some prints and you have that same photo in many, many different places. A dedupe feature will catch upon the upload. It'll see that picture the first time, let it into your account the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. It's going to go, no, that photo's already here. We don't need to, we don't need to duplicate that. You will really, really appreciate that. So all photos, whether it's taken with a digital camera or if it was scanned with a scanner, now has metadata that's embedded in the picture. But the old-fashioned way on your prints of metadata was somebody would just turn the picture over right on the back side, what it was of, the date it was taken, where it was taken. This information is permanently attached to this photo. Once you have an old photo digitized, you could have the front and the back of that one. I would have copies of both. It's nice to capture someone's handwriting. But here's a scan of an older picture, and then here is the story that goes with it. So this becomes part of the metadata. Now, different cloud storage services have different features here. They'll all give you room for like a name and a date, maybe a little extra space. Sometimes you get space to write you could write a novel over here, or rather it would be a biography. This becomes part of the metadata. So if I click share, I'm not actually trying to email that picture to someone. Now, I don't need a computer to do this. I can do this from my phone. I can do it from one of those little cheap tablets. I just click on share, and then a code comes up. You put that code in the email. I can send the email then to my cousin in California. I'll be sharing this photo with her. She gets a story that goes with it. She has access to this photo. She can store it now in whatever type of storage she's using. She could print it. She just can't get into my account and see anything else. I might also decide just to share a whole album of photos, like if we're doing a family heritage project. Then I'm giving her access to all the photos in that album. So check out the different types of share features if you're looking at different cloud services. Some do things differently than others. Stories are important. These are a couple different companies. StoryCorps is a nonprofit. You can go online, check them out. Adding stories to pictures is important. You'll get some ideas here that are helpful. Storyworth is a company that you pay a fee. They send you a story or question every week. You answer it, and then they print a book for you at the end of the year. It's about $100. This one's free. So if you like the idea of really just looking at a picture, though, prompts a memory, and you almost don't even need those services. You're just going to, think of a story to write. Format migration just means any photos you have on any type of a cloud storage, if they are no longer formatted as JPEGs, you're going to automatically have your photos updated to whatever that next technology is coming our way. We know things keep changing, but you don't have to worry about doing it yourself. It's going to be done for you. This mantra, keep it in mind: upload, delete, organize, repeat. And this is the organize is where we all think we need to start with our photos. We think, okay, I got to pull out that box and start making little piles on the dining room table, organizing. Or people will say, I just have to go through my photos. I just have to get rid of a lot of photos. And starting here is just like overwhelming. It feels like a lot of work, and it stops people from getting started. If you're willing to wait until step 3, but instead start with the upload, like I said, almost just be willing to do this dump of everything into your account, then you can sit there with your laptop on your lap, or with one of the little tablets, or even your phone, and you can go through, delete the pictures you don't want, and then start doing the organizing, putting all the Johnny pictures in Johnny's album, put all your travel pictures in a travel album, add a story about that trip you went on. Now this step becomes fun. You get to reminisce, you get to relive the memories. It's so important to make this number 3 here. Don't try to start here. Just get this basic stuff done. And this is what you can have done by the end of the weekend. Just keep uploading the dump. Also, this little sentence here, libraries used to host workshops in their little meeting rooms where people would come, they'd bring their laptops and get help getting started with stuff like this. Well, then 2 years ago, COVID came along. This all got switched to Zoom. So there are free Zoom sessions that are ongoing that you learn something new each time. They're recorded, so if you can't watch live, you can join in. And I will have an email at the end of this that you can take a picture of it with your phone or jot it down if you want to be on an email list to know about these Zoom sessions. And it is an email list that, you can scroll to the bottom and click on subscribe if you decide, I don't want to be on this email list anymore. You know how that is. Sometimes you get too many emails, but it's weekly, so they will let you know weekly what the next session is. I would encourage it. I think it's really helpful when you're just starting. Step 3, I think it's going to be easiest if there's questions. I'll just wait till the end. Is I said you could skip the 3rd step, but now it's going to be fun because you can find your photos. What are some of the things you can do with your photos? And you don't need to buy software. Remember, I said you don't even really need a computer. You need a computer if you're going to use software, but all these cloud storage services have built right in the ability to do photo Christmas cards, make digital photo books, do your editing. That's usually built in and free. More and more is available to us free. Take advantage of it. So this is an example of a pre-designed page, a whitewashed fence, the red and green ribbon, the pine cones, the berries. You just drag and drop your pictures into the frame, perfectly sizes your picture to the frame. This could be a photo Christmas card. It could be a page in a digital photo book. And you could also consider scanning old recipe cards. When you see somebody's handwriting, it's like seeing that person's face right there. So if you have a card in grandma's handwriting, send it off with your scanning in one of those scanning boxes. Get a digital copy. Put that on the page, then put maybe a picture of grandma on the page, because now you can instantly find that photo. Then take a picture of the plate of cookies. Some people have created very personal family photo albums of favorite recipes, pictures of people, family sitting around the table at Thanksgiving. A lot of unique things you'll start thinking of that you can do with photos. If you're into heritage, these pages work well. Again, it's already decorated or laid out like this. You just drag and drop your pictures into the frame, put the family name up there at the top, and there's a whole variety of different layouts beyond these two. There's a scrapbooky look if you like that. This is the same template as the very first one I showed you, the little girl with the red hat. Remember the pine cones and the berries? So these people took their photos that were color, they changed them to black and white. So that's a feature that's built right into your cloud storage. And then they chose to have it printed on a mug. You can print photos on anything these days. Jewelry, tote bags, fuzzy blankets. Now you can find all your pictures, so you can have a lot of fun printing them on lots of different places. Now, like I said, editing tools are just built right into cloud storage accounts. So you can crop pictures, make them darker, make them lighter, pop the color. If you do need to do some serious editing, you do need to purchase software. And I'll show you just an example when you would need that. So now we're going back to, now you do need a computer, because now you're going to be using software. But chances are most of your editing is going to be what you can just do right in your cloud storage. But here's an example of face that is damaged. And this type of editing so far has never been included in any of the free, as a free editing tool in cloud storage. What you would do is you just enlarge the part of the face you're trying to fix, and it's just a copy paste tool. It's called a clone tool. So you copy here and paste here. Here where there's more shadow, you copy here, paste here, heavier shadow here, copy, paste. And in probably less than a half hour, even if this is the first time you've ever done this, you've got the face fixed. But that does require software. As of now, that's not anything built into cloud storage. But that's also how they do this type of touch-up. So if you want to go through and putz around with your pictures, you can do that. This woman here made herself skinnier. She just made more background and less t-shirt. And that's a clone tool too. You can turn pictures to black and white, leave part of them color. And people have fun with wedding pictures or flower pictures doing that. Pictures faded, you can sharpen it, contrast. If a picture is blurry, you can use what's called a sharpen tool. And all you're doing is with your mouse or with your little tracking pad on your tablet, is you're just clicking the picture. Every time you click on it, if you've selected a sharpen tool, it makes the picture sharper. So the first time you do this, you're going to get carried away and you'll learn, if I make a picture too sharp, it looks really, really bad. but there's always an undo button, so you can go back a step or 2 or 3 until you just get a better picture. And this is a really good example of why you don't want to do that step that we tend to think we should do first, like, oh, I just have to go through my pictures, I just have to get rid of a lot of them. Because you'd come to this one and go, oh, it's a blurry picture, I should just toss it. You wait till you're farther along into this project, then you're going to know, I know how to fix that. So really important to do that first upload, just the dump, and then start working your way into organizing, telling stories, doing editing. And that is the end here. We have, wow, it's like almost 3 o'clock. Perfect. We have time for a couple of questions. If now that the Zoom sessions that I mentioned that are really helpful, that are once a week, if you want to be on an email list, you can just message me at this, and I know the ladies that do those will be happy to have more people join in. It's pretty informal, 20 minutes of training, and then just interact. There's always this. There's been a lot of talk about the weather when we first.